Good morning, everyone. Happy New Year. Happy New Year. No, let's try it again. Happy New Year. Happy New Year. 2017. Are we excited? Yeah, good. Some didn't like 2016, but that's water under the bridge. All right, we got a new year. It's going to be fantastic. Thanks for being here. Has everyone found a seat? Looks like it. Good. Maybe someone in the back, could you shut that door a little bit? Keep our secrets in here, right? All right. So 2017 has some exciting changes and growth for us. Boost Denver, as it has been known, has been in existence 7 years. And we moved around different places in town. We love it here at Thrive. If you're looking for some workspace, definitely talk to them upstairs. This is a fantastic place. I have a desk here. Moving into the new year, we're going to go national. We're going to go live. We are live right now. Right, Anthony?
That's right.
We are live. We are on Facebook Live. That's definitely a new thing for me. Maybe you are accustomed to that, but that's awesome. So you can, Anthony, how does that work to get, or another Facebook?
So if you'd like to share this,
oh, there we go.
what you'll do is you'll just go to the Boost Biz Facebook page, and you'll see this feed in the timeline, and you just hit the share button at the bottom, and then it will go to your timeline.
Okay, so that is how you can share this awesomeness, with your friends on Facebook. So that's a new thing to me too. So it's exciting. So yes, we are live. We are national, and we will be exploring other locations too, even other cities. Particularly, I have Portland in mind, but there'll be more on that coming up. So Boost Biz Ed is kind of a little shift in the name. This is Boost Biz Ed Denver now, and there will be other locations as things evolve. And if you have connections or insights on that, let me know, because I'm going blind into this. So not entirely blind. So you might have found us through meetup.com. How many found us that way? Yeah, lots of people. Yeah, good. You might have found us through boostdenver.com. We're on the website. Anybody find that? Okay, we're working on that. That's kind of
What's the name of it?
What's that?
What name did you say?
Okay, boostdenver.com is the current URL. It will be shifting to boostbized.com, but you can still find us at boostdenver.com. This whole transition will be a little bit rough at points, but it's all exciting. All right, and you can use Twitter. We are on there still at Boost Denver. If you are one of those live tweeters, we appreciate that too. Teena, our speaker, her handle is Teena W. Barnett, so definitely include that as well. All right, yeah, so we are on Facebook Live, excited about that. The login, if you want to log in, you can go Thrive Guest, and the password is WalnutGuest if you need help getting connected that way. And signing in, hopefully we caught you at the door and you're able to sign in on our screen. If not, you can go with your device to boostdenver.com/IamHere and sign in that way. Just kind of give us your information and we can follow up with you. So, Boost Denver, Boost Biz Ed, I have to fix it when I say it, has been about actionable education from the beginning. And I love getting the review and feedback that's a little distinctive, because sometimes you might have gone to something and just turned into just a sales pitch and you say, oh, I didn't want to hear about that timeshare or that kind of. No, this is actionable education, something you can do something with right away. And so, and we have attracted a lot of awesome people. We're going to go around the room here in a second. We're going to have to go fast because we have a bunch of people here. This is exciting. I'll tell you, have I even told you my name? I don't think I have. I forget that. I am Drew Shockley, and my money-making business is Call to Action Alliance, and I am a web designer and developer. I particularly love working with businesses to help them figure out, kind of dig into what their passions are, because we can create some real distinction in their websites with that, and also some real distinct opportunities. So I have been doing that for 12 years, and I love it. So that is who I am. Anthony, let's start with Anthony.
Okay.
Yeah, that's good.
All right. My name's Anthony. I am a YouTube specialist and a certified Google partner, and I teach realtors how to farm their neighborhood with YouTube. So that's about me, and we'll just go around to the other people in the room and find out what they do.
Yeah, just feel comfortable just talk to the room, and we'll get you live as well. Yeah.
Good morning, my name is Joe. My company is Driven Local. We're a digital marketing agency that helps connect small businesses to new paths of revenue through the search engines. I'm excited to be here with everybody this morning. Thanks.
My name is Anna. I'm a graduate student in UC Denver. Now I want to learn something here.
Okay. You.
My name is JC. I'm a nutritionist, and I work with folks who have food sensitivities. I work on balancing their system through a program called bioenergetic scanning. So, if you know anybody that's struggling with food sensitivities, send them my way. Thank you.
My name is Tony Downs. I'm with Mago Visual. I'm an architectural photographer. I help real estate agents sell homes and apartment communities fill vacancies.
Hi, I'm Emily Downs with Omega Visual also. I'm a branding and marketing strategist, so I help business owners better communicate their products and services to their prospects and clients. Thanks, Emily Downs.
Good morning, everybody. I am Ashley Sims with Let Me Help You, and I work with stressed out business owners who need help getting the admin tasks off of their list so they can focus more on making money.
I love that. My name's Nate Lapgard. I own a business called the Kite and Dart Group, and what we do is we build peer advisory boards for entrepreneurs, so you don't have to let us coach you, you can coach each other. I'm also a business coach, and we have an event like this coming up, so if you'd like to come, just card me on the way out, and I'll reach out afterwards. Thanks.
Joyce Boystel, I'm going to be important. Joyce Boystel, Boomer, social media tutor. I focus on people between approximately 45 and 60, though I take them of all ages, who finally have said, I got to figure out LinkedIn, maybe Facebook, Twitter, Pinterest. So I really help you to do your own social media. So Joyce Boystel, and I'm able to say that because of my branding coach over there. Thank you, Emily.
I'm Joe Fleener. I'm a handyman, but I'm also trying to develop and go out into some products. I have a tomato cage trellis that you can use as a Christmas tree.
Hey, my name is Christian Brown. I run a business process outsourcing company named Silicon. So what we do is we offer any manner of professional services you can imagine for half the cost it would typically be in the U.S. Accounting, bookkeeping, SEO, software development, pretty much anything you can imagine doesn't have to be done in-house. Thanks.
Good morning, I'm Holly Benham. I'm an attorney with the Contiguglia Law Firm. Here with my boss, Andy Contiguglia. We help small business owners start businesses, change their businesses, tear down businesses, and do things like that, amongst some other things, but that's what we're focusing on right now.
And just to pick up on that, I'm Andy Contiguglia. I'm also a small business owner owning the Contiguglia Law Firm. Just to give you a little bit more information, we help your business from startup through success and through separation, whether you're selling your business, whether you're dissolving your business. We do all of those different things for you. I kind of look at our job with you as preventative law, sort of like nutrition, but we're nutrition for your job or for your business. Legal nutrition. You don't wait for your heart attack to start eating right. So now don't wait for your lawsuit to start.
Hi, I'm Kim Hastings. I work for Mortgage Master, which should tell you that I'm a loan officer, focusing on purchases and refinances.
I'm Leslie Comstock with Think Creative Inc., and we're a marketing company that specializes in all kinds of print and branded products.
Hi, I'm Laura Pensacencia with Social Savvy Geek. I am soon to be a published author. I am a public speaker, and my agency helps speakers and authors to book more and better engagements and sell more books so they can spend more time on their business and less time on their marketing.
And I've worked with Laura, and honestly, she does really good work. I'm an author, and my book is going to be released this year. It's called The Reinvented Woman, The Best Ways to Enjoy Life to the Fullest Without Sacrificing Your Femininity. And I primarily work with divorced women who I help them get present, let go of the emotions around the stigma of divorce, and help them move on in their life. And what was your name? Leila Gonzalez.
My name is Jolie Blackburn. I own CoPros, Colorado Professionals Network. We are an industry-exclusive networking group here in Denver.
Russ Kensel, my company, Strategic Exit. I help all my clients around issues where money intersects life, the third of life, and my business owner clients plan to exit their businesses on their terms and their timing. That's the best lawyer introduction I've ever heard. that like killed it for doing related work in the legal perspective, so great. Russ Kensel, thanks.
Hi, I'm Ross Ames. I'm a business broker with Transworld. We help people acquire businesses. We help business owners expand their business by acquisition or franchising, and we help business owners sell their business when there's time to move on or retire. Ross with Transworld.
I'm Alan Bryant. I'm with Alan Bryant Photography. I do event and wedding photography.
I'm Jesse O with Higher Ground Tree Spraying. I do plant or tree health care where we treat diseases, not necessarily the pruning part, but we come in and try to turn unhealthy trees around and save them. And specialize in nutrition, injecting antibiotics and stuff like that. So.
Hello, Carol Wolf with the Ponsidine Group, Cindy for Positive Dynamics. We offer sales training, career coaching, teach people how to increase revenue without selling, and navigate the future of employment. Carol Wolf, Positive.
I'm Tara Valgoy. I'm the owner of Mile High Memorials. We're the largest manufacturer and creator of distinctive granite memorials for cemeteries here in Colorado. And we're branching out into architectural firms and things like that, doing on-site engraving and creating very distinctive architectural designs.
Hi, my name is Rochelle Fisher, and my husband and I run a school called Yoga of the Mind. Hi, I thought I recognized you. And your name. We teach intuitive development through meditation and energy work.
Hi, Sharon Sikorsky. I'm in product development. I'm currently searching for a new opportunity. My last few roles were in the credit card processing business, payments.
Hi, my name is Eric Downs. I run a family-owned construction business that's looking to expand and grow. Also want to develop a few other small businesses in 2017.
Hi, I'm Kelly Thompson. I'm starting my first small business. It's called It's Elementary. It is for enrichment education of grade schoolers in science through hands-on experiments. So any of you PTA people, I could use your help soon.
Good morning. My name is Doris Ratch. I represent a 44-year-old company called Legal Shield. We've been providing legal access to business owners, families, and CDL drivers for over 44 years. Probably all of you have an attorney if you're a smart business owner, but maybe you don't want to call them all the time. So we say we cover from the traumatic to the trivial. So keep your attorney, but call our attorneys anytime you have any questions, problems, need a letter written, things like that. Things that you would not call your attorney for because you maybe can't afford to pay them that much money. Doris Ratch, Legal Shield.
Wow, it's so exciting, everyone that's here. Thank you for all for coming out here. And another way you can use that live stream, you can go back later and catch it, and if there's someone in the room, you didn't quite get their name, that kind of thing, so we can use it that way as well. I want to mention our action form. It's in front of you. This is the way we kind of track and really kind of push that you have some kind of action item kind of leaving here. It helps you kind of focus on that. It also gives us some valuable feedback as to how we're doing and how we can improve and how we can plug you in even more. All right, so without further ado, oh, I'm so excited. All right, here we go. Through 21 years of sales in corporate America with small businesses, Teena developed the program she is going to present to us today. This idea came about as a value-added service to her customers whom she saw struggling internally with employee issues and externally with customer service and loyalty issues. Teena has recorded multiple successes in bringing businesses back from the brink of failure by assisting them at all levels in culture development, change management, employee engagement, customer service, as well as sales training. So I'm very excited to learn getting along with anyone, anywhere, anytime. I give you Teena Barnett.
Thanks, Drew. I'm super excited to be here with you guys today, and wow, a full room. That is incredibly awesome. So thank you for showing up on this cold and a little bit snowy morning. And my goal for you today is that you leave here with something written on your action plan that you can go home and do right away. So a little bit more about myself. I was in corporate America for 21 years, and December 23rd of 2015, my corporate job left me. And at that time, I decided that it couldn't be a better time to strike out on my own and start my own business. So I jumped into the world of coaching and consulting. Been at it, obviously, just a little over a year now. Could not be happier with it. I have so enjoyed working with entrepreneurs. My customers were small business owners who, veterinarians, as a matter of fact, who went to school to provide a service, didn't go to school to run a business, got out of school, and holy cow, they have to run a business. So I'm very used to working with entrepreneurs who are passionate about the service that they want to provide to the general public, but have no idea how to run a business behind it. And so that's where I come in with what I do on a day-to-day basis, is help to put that business foundation underneath the product and service that you want to provide to your public. So we are going to talk a little bit about, I guess I have to do the slide thing.
There you go, perfect.
There we go. Today, the 4 keys to getting along with anyone, anywhere, anytime. We will, as I go through this, I'm happy to entertain a question or two, but we will also have a question and answer session at the end. So either way is fine with me. It's entirely up to you. So this presentation is for you, really, if you want to connect with your customers or your family or really anybody. But we're going to focus on customers today, but you don't want to seem pushy or salesy. I think that's the number one thing people are afraid of. And by using the information that I'm going to supply to you today, you can actually come across as being very engaged with the person that you're talking to, and they'll actually sell themselves. Isn't that what we all want, right? So this is also for you. If people don't seem interested in what you have to say, they don't seem interested. And one of the reasons I should say they don't seem interested is because you're not resonating with them. We're going to talk about how you make that happen quickly and easily. So this is what's possible for you today when we leave here. I want you to confidently know how to resonate with every potential client, first and foremost. And by using that, build a steady and reliable income. Right? We all want to be more successful in our business. I would say if you're doing a lot of networking, you're starving for clients, essentially. You're looking for clients. You need to fill your business with clients, and this information will get you there. Okay? So, having said that, if you think that this is going to be a great value to you, and not only to you, but maybe your tribe and your customers, I would encourage you to go back to the Boost Biz, thank you, Facebook page, and share this live feed on your page so that your clients and your customers can find it there and can tune in as well. And it's really very easy to do. I have it right here. So there, I'm sharing it now with my group. Done. Anybody else? Done. Thank you. Awesome. Now I need to get my clock back so I don't run overtime. Okay, so with that, we're going to jump right into this information. So we're going to talk about the ABC method of constant clients, right? A is for attraction. Obviously, we have to attract clients so that we can sit down and talk to them, so that we learn about them and they learn about what we're offering to make sure we're a good fit. B is for bonding. We have to have that bonding conversation. The bonding conversation is what we're going to focus on specifically today, going forward. And then once we have bonded with our clients, then we move to C, the close. And if we've done the bonding correctly and the attraction correctly, they'll close themselves. So we won't spend any time actually talking about the closing side of that. That could be a whole nother presentation. We're going to spend all our time talking about the bonding. And just so you guys know, I could spend like 4 days talking about all of this. This is where I get my geek on, actually, because I love this information. I've seen it work. I've taught it for 15 years, and I know that if you get really good at utilizing this information, you can talk to anyone, anytime. You'll never come across somebody you don't like ever again, because you'll know exactly how to talk with them, and you will get along with them. Doesn't mean you have to fall in love with them and they have to be your best friend, right? But we want to get along with everybody. And so we can reduce stress, we can reduce drama, we can reduce conflict just by implementing this information that I'm going to give to you today. So in bonding, we all know that the very first thing that we have to do is build our KLT, our know, like, and trust. Correct? How many of you are feeling really comfortable that you can build know, like, and trust in a 20-minute conversation? How many of you struggle with that and wonder, okay, I had a conversation with someone, but I'm not sure it went really well. Will I ever hear from them again? Right? So that's what we want to make sure that we are able to recognize the needs of the person that we're talking to, give those needs to them in a manner that really makes them think, wow, she really listened to me. He really gets me. I need to work with this person. That's what we want going on in the minds of the customers that we're talking to all the time, every time. Right? Okay, so in this magical selling process, we know that this is where we should be spending our time. Every time we sit down in a discovery session, a strategy session, where we're getting to know a potential customer and they're getting to know us, we need to spend the majority of our time listening. Who's good at listening? Really? Really? I would encourage you. I don't run into very many people that are good at listening. I run into a whole lot of people that say they're good at listening. Next time you have a sales conversation with someone or a strategy session, have someone there with you, maybe record it. It doesn't have to necessarily be Facebook Live, but you can record the audio on your phone and then play that back and actually document how much time are you talking. Because if you're talking more than 2/3 of the time, that's why you're not getting anywhere. The strategy session is more about the customer that you're talking to and not about you and what you have to deliver. And that's really hard for us as entrepreneurs because we are very excited about what we have to offer people. We think everybody needs it. We know that it can improve the world. We know that we need to be out there sharing it. And we love to share it. That's why we're in business for ourselves, right? And yet, we're not getting people connected to us so that they want to hear what we have to say because we're not listening enough to them to truly understand what their needs are and will our product really fulfill their needs. Okay? So we want to spend a lot of time listening. And part of this information that I'm going to share with you going forward will help you to slow down and listen more as well. Because we're going to turn this around and every single conversation that you have is no longer about this person who's trying to sell something or gain a client. It's about that person, the client. And it's all about putting yourselves in the place of the client and really being about and for the other person. Right? So That means that we spend very little time explaining what we do and even less time closing. However, what we do in this time when we are explaining is critical. Just because it's a smaller piece of the pie doesn't mean that we can put less emphasis on it. And that's what we're going to talk about, how to maximize the outcome of what you say and do in that piece of this pie. Okay? So, anybody feel like that? They need a get-along shirt sometimes? Anybody have kids that you want to like put a get-along shirt on? Yes. This is actually the relationship that we want to have with our clients. We want to be able to get along with them without feeling like we're struggling and we're tied to each other and we're forced to work together and oh my God, I got to have another client because I can't pay the bills this month, so I'm going to work with you even though I can't stand you. Right? Yes, it happens. It happens to all of us. It does. So, who's heard of the original golden rule? What's the original golden rule say?
Goes with the gold rule.
That's not the original one. That's why I use the word original. Yes. Do unto others, or treat others as you would like to be treated. So how many of you have tried that and it didn't work? Right? I think it's my firm belief that we have a perspective on this that is just a little off. Because you're not me. And you don't want to be treated like me. Right? So if I treat you the way that I want to be treated, you're going to go, what are you doing? I don't like you. Because that's not you. We want to be treated as individuals. We want to be treated as who we are. So my job is not to treat you like I want to be treated. My job is to treat you like you want. Right? Because I want to be treated like me. And that's the best gift you could give to me. You want to be treated like you. That's the best gift I could give to you. The question is, how do you know what that is? Right? It's not like we have it stamped on our foreheads. We can't read minds. You could ask me and I probably couldn't even tell you. Well, there's some very distinct clues that everybody uses and everybody gives off that you can recognize and notice and then know how to respond appropriately. That will instantly build rapport, that will instantly grow your know, like, and trust, and will help you to really communicate and really get to know the person that you're talking to. Okay, so this doesn't come from just something that I made up. This is actually based in science. And this science has actually been around since about the 1920s. So this gentleman just realized, he was a professor at Harvard, working with a professor at Yale to develop this back in the 20s. What he discovered is that obviously we're all born with genetic traits. They kind of dictate a lot about us, correct? They are what they are, they'll never change. On top of that, we build our personality. Your personality was set in stone by the time you were 5 years old. It doesn't change. You can't change it. It is what it is. It's yours. Okay? By the way, on a side note, I think we're starting to see an increase in one parent or another stay home with their children until they're about age 5, and this is a large part of that reason. Because we as parents want to have control over the personality formation of our kids now that we know that this is a part of it, which I think is super cool. On top of our personality, though, we have our environmental factors. And our environment and all of the experiences that we go through in life shape our behavior. And I'm here to tell you that behavior is different from personality. One of my pet peeves. Okay? Behavior is a part of personality. It is not personality. You can change your behavior. You cannot change your personality. Okay? You have a choice in how you respond. And that choice gives you power. And that power, when used correctly, means that you get to resonate with every single person that you come in contact with. You get to have a great conversation with every single person that you come in contact with because you can dictate how you show up. and how you respond to them. Okay? So behavior, when we're noticing behavior, all of these things we can notice, right? We can determine how somebody wants to be communicated with by looking at their likes and dislikes, how they respond to stress, how they respond to anger, how they dress, what their body language is. If I stand like this, you're probably going to talk to me a lot differently than if I'm relaxed. Correct? Yes. How we like to have fun, the types of hobbies that we choose. Do we like to be in big crowds? Do we like to be alone? How we drive. You get an opportunity to watch your customers pull into a parking lot. It says a whole lot about how they want to be communicated with. All right. Okay, so how many of you are familiar with DISC? A couple of you. So this really is taken from the DISC model. And it is so critical that we, in my opinion, that we learn this and we implement this. And I'll tell you the reason why. I first went through the assessment it's been 15 years ago now. And it completely changed my life. I struggled prior to that with not being able to make decisions. And I'd have like this little voice over here going, oh, just make a decision. It'll be fine. Go forward. We'll fix it later. Don't worry about it. And I had this little voice over here going, oh, but we don't have enough information. Slow down. We need to think about this. We need to process this. So I had like this dichotomy going on in my head all the time. All the time. It was exhausting. It was frustrating. I didn't know how to handle that in a lot of cases. I felt like my life was stuck and not moving forward because of all of that going on. When I took this assessment, my two highest ones were here and here. Oh, yeah. Polar opposites. Yes. Polar opposites. We're going to talk about it. We're going to get into the 4. But just know that you can. What's interesting about this, so once I knew that, then I could kind of like take a step back and take a deep breath and go, okay, these are the times and the situations that I'm going to be this. And then these are the times and the situations that I'm going to be this. And it's all okay. I'm actually normal. Okay, so it's important to note going forward that you are, every single one of you and myself are all 4 of these. Which is great because that means you have the capacity and the ability to move between all 4 of them anytime you want to. Which means that when you recognize one of these in the person that you're talking to, you get to mirror them. And when you mirror them, they're like, oh my God, she really gets me. Oh my God, he really understands me. That's the person I need to work with because we're alike, correct? So, who's our Ds? Our Ds are our dominant individuals is the word that they use. They tend to talk in bullet points, right? So, if you're talking to someone who is a very high D, they need very little detail. They don't need, you can give them incomplete sentences, just the facts. They're all about getting the job done, and they're going to want to know how working with you is going to make them an excellent person, and everybody's going to be jealous. And that's it. That's it. Okay? They don't care about, I always say they don't care about your feelings, which is not really true. It's just your feelings are secondary. Okay? And if you're not aware of this type of individual, and you're not that individual, you're likely to get your feelings hurt around them all the time. Because their priority is getting the job done. We'll talk about your feelings later. We got work to do. Do it now. I said do it now. Right? What do you mean you need more detail? Just go do it. Okay, our eyes are our interactive people, we call them intuitive. They are highly social. Highly social. Everything's a party. They're the first person to hug you when you come in the room. They want to know how what you have to offer is going to affect the entire group of people that they're around. That's all they care about. If you can keep them on track. because they're talkers and they like to talk and they will continue to talk and they want to talk about everything that has to do with your family and what you did over the weekend and where you went on vacation and
okay, if anybody knows me, like I'd be the prototype eye.
Yes.
In case you're wondering.
Sometimes it can be really hard to keep them on track. They're squirrel. Yes, I worked with a gentleman like this who was a support person for me in corporate America, and we'd be out seeing customers. And oftentimes we'd take customers to lunch, and he was so like this that eventually we'd sit before and we'd go, okay, we have to talk about three things. And we'd be 3/4 of the way through lunch, and he talked about none of them. So I started kicking him under the table. And the first time I did that, he's like, what? And then we had that conversation. I'm like, every time I need to get you back on track, I'm kicking you under the table. And it worked. So just something to refocus them. So those people, you're going to have to continually figure out how to bring them back to the point of the conversation, or you're going to be talking to them 3 hours, 4 hours, right? Okay. They don't necessarily need a lot of detail either, but they need to know how what you offer is going to affect the people around them. That's the big key right there. Okay. We move down to our S's. Our S's, S stands for steady. These are your wallflower people. They're very quiet. They never have a question. They never speak up. They never raise their hand. They're very interested in how what you have is going to change their world, because they don't like change.
Can you say that again?
Yes, these people are very interested in how what you have, the service that you're offering, is going to change their world, because they don't like change. And when you put a change in front of them, you're going to have to give them 3 days to process it. And you're going to have to, and you can do that. I know we like to get a yes right away, but if you're dealing with one of these individuals, you're not going to get a yes right away. And if you force an answer, you're getting a no every time. What you can do, when you recognize this individual, is say, let's talk again in 3 days. Let's go ahead and make an appointment to have a phone conversation. Do you think you can have an answer for me in 3 days? They will. They will. If you give them the 3 days to think about it. Now, the other thing, because they are so quiet, you are going to have to shut up. Ask a question, shut up. For like 30 seconds. And if you have to count slowly to 30 in your head to make that happen, then do it. Because what these people do, they're not thinking about the answer to your question while you're asking the question. They wait for you to stop, and then they think about it, and they formulate their answer. So we think that, oh, we need to give them more information. Oh, we need to ask the question differently. No, every time you open your mouth, you're resetting the clock. Every time. So, ask a question, shut up. If they need more information or they don't understand your question, they will say so. Okay. We move on to our C individuals. These are our conscientious folks. These are our analytical spreadsheet folks. Okay, they're going to want to know the pros and cons about all of it, the good and the bad. And if you go up to them with a proposal and you say to them, this is what we need to do, and here's all the things that it's going to do for us when we do them, and you think you've done a great job, they're going to come back and you're going to think they're playing devil's advocate and they hate you because they're going to start asking you about all the things that could go wrong. Because that's what's going on in their head. And they want to know that you've thought about those things before you approach them. So if you know you're talking with someone who is this way, you need to say, here's what will happen if you don't incorporate this. Here's what will happen if you do. And just 2 or 3 things. It doesn't have to be a big long list, but they want to be reassured that you've thought it through like they would think it through. Okay? These folks are also very job-oriented. They're very task-oriented. They don't care much about feelings either. They want to get the job done, but they want it to be at a very high standard, and they want it to be done correctly. They are perfectionists. So we'll talk about your feelings later. We got to get the job done well first. Now, having said that, there is actually almost a 50-50 split in our society between this side and this side. Okay? So you're going to run into people who are all about getting the job done, and that's all that they want to hear from you. And you're going to run into people who are all about how they think and feel. So as you're crafting your message and having that strategy session, you want to be able to ask enough questions to understand which of these groups of people, which type of person you're interacting with, so then you can mirror that and respond back to them in that way, and they'll totally get you. And that is treating them like they want to be treated. It's treating them as individuals and treating them based on who they are. Right? So you'll also pay attention to how they ask you questions, because you'll end up with what questions, you'll end up with why questions, you'll end up with who questions, you'll end up with when questions. There's so much information that's wrapped up into this that you can actually recognize in conversations, which is why I could talk about it for 4 days, that it sometimes can be really difficult to do a general overview on it, because you can get so deep into each one of these in recognizing other people, and they give you clues all the time from the moment that they open their mouth. It works on the phone, it works in email, it works face-to-face. Yeah. One of my favorite presentations to give actually is how do you use this in email? Because we lose body language, we lose tone of voice in an email, so how do you do this in an email? That's kind of a fun one to discuss and talk about as well. All right, so the ultimate, yes, question?
I'm sorry, can you go through the who, what, when, again?
Sure. These are your what people. What are we doing? These are your who people. Who's involved? Did I? Sorry, my bad. These are your who people. Who is involved? These are your how people. How is it changing my life? These are your when people. When are we doing that?
Thank you.
Yes?
What was the word for I and the word for C?
What the letter stands for? These are your intuitive people. For interactive people, you can use either word there. C's are your conscientious or calculating.
I've also heard compliant.
Compliant, yeah. Yeah. Okay, any other questions on this before? All right. All right, so ultimately, when we're having conversations with others, we really want to avoid these types of conversations, right? We don't ever want to leave having sat down and talked with a client or a friend or a spouse or a family member, really anyone, because this works with everybody. We don't want to end our conversations like this. We want our conversations to be more friendly, more getting along, more understanding each other, more building know, like, and trust, more rapport. And that's how this information gets put to work. Okay, so with our action plan, everybody has an action plan sheet there. I would like for you to think about 1 or 2 ways that you might take the information that I've shared with you today and begin to recognize the needs of the conversations of those people around you. So, one of the things to think about, what did you learn today that you might want to stop doing? What did you learn today that you might want to start doing? What did you learn today that you're doing pretty well? It's really working for you and you want to continue to do. So I find that And while you guys are doing that, I'll tell you a little story about an experience that I had. So when I did there is an assessment that you can go online and take if you would like to know where you typically fall on the scale. And when I did that, my eye is very, very low, very low. I don't like to be around people. I don't like to party with people. People are over there. But I had to learn how to do this, right? Because I can. I'm fully capable of doing that. And I had, 3 or 4 years ago, this really hit home with me because my largest customer was asked by a new manager that I had how I was doing. When I would come to see them and I would bring them new information and we'd sit down and have a conversation, how was I doing? Did they like talking to me? Was I doing a good job for them? Those types of things. And their answer, and thank God she told me, their answer was, she brings us really great information. We always know what's going on, but she's not any fun. So my D kicked in, which is, D's like challenges. Like, by God, I am fun. You just watch this. So I set about to have fun as my job. It became my job to have fun. And through the last couple of years, I've actually learned to like having fun and like being around people and enjoying conversations with people and those types of things. It's a muscle you have to flex if it's not your strength. You can do it. So I had another support person here recently that was a super high I, like the person I got along with the least in that communication style. And she had a very high need for approval. She was very squirrel about things. So she would be working with me and my customers, and we'd put meetings on the calendar, and it would be great. And then she'd go ride with the next person she was supposed to be working with, and one of their customers would want the date she just booked with me, and she'd be like, "Oh, I'll just change it. No problem." So whatever was in front of her at the moment, if you could keep her focused on what was in front of her, she was all about it. She'd do it. But if you were yesterday, and you scheduled it yesterday, it probably wasn't going to happen. And there's about 10 of us, and we'd all schedule things with her and then wait for the phone call. Can't do it anymore. We're going to have to reschedule. And to have to turn around and call customers and say, "Oh, yeah, she's not coming. She found something that was more important than you. She's not coming." Right? So I decided that knowing this style, that I really needed to be able to keep my appointments with my customers up front and personal with her. So we'd set appointments, and once a week, I would email her or call her or leave her a message or text her or something. "Hey, so-and-so's really looking forward to seeing you. Hey, so-and-so wants to talk about this. Hey, I found a meeting place for us. What do you think about, can we do it 15 minutes later than what we said? Can we include this in the conversation?" Every week, sometimes twice a week, until it came time for the appointment. And it worked. All of a sudden, she started showing up for all of the appointments with all that we had booked together. And my colleagues at that point started noticing all of that. And they're like, "What are you doing? How are you getting her there?" "Here's what I'm doing. Saying something about it every week." "Oh, we're not doing that. That's too much work." "Okay, fine, your choice, but you're going to continue to get what you get. If you want something different, you have to do something different." And that's the only way that you're going to really move forward in a lot of these relationships. So, you do have, as entrepreneurs, we do have the choice of who we work with, and if there's somebody that we just really don't think we can get along with, we have, it's in our power to say no. Right? However, we can benefit a lot more people if we learn to communicate with them in the way they want to be communicated with. And we can share our knowledge, we can share our expertise, and we truly can go out and change the world with our information. The more people we get along with, and the more people we know how to talk with in a way that will resonate with them. Right? So, a couple of things. You do have, I have a couple, let me start that over again. If you would like a copy of my slides, please note that on the assessment sheet that you have in front of you. I also have another handout that I would love to email to you on the magical sales conversation, of which this ABC, attracting, bonding, and closing, the bonding that we spent so much time talking about today, is included. Would love to email that to you today, later today as well. So be sure to give me your email address and make a note if you want one or the other or both, and I will get that to you. Okay, and then finally, if you are interested in sitting down and talking about client attraction, having these bonding conversations, you know, how it's going for you, those types of things, you do have this assessment form in front of you as well. Fill that out, and I'll take those at the end of, you know, when we're done today as well, and see if we can help get you more resonant with more people that you talk with, and improve the number of clients that are coming into your business and sticking with you. So, any questions? Anything I can answer for you? Yes, ma'am.
Is there a way to apply some of this, how we talk on social media?
Yes. So the question, can you hear her? Okay.
Sorry,
No, that's fine. I didn't know if I needed to repeat the question for our folks on Facebook Live. And by the way, on Facebook Live, if you want copies of this presentation, message me or put a note there under the video and I'll get that to you as well. Okay, so your question, can you use this on social media? Yes. You can use this in every area of your life with every single person anytime you want to use it. It gets a little trickier because social media is much like email, right? You lose body language, you lose tone. So what you need to do, and because we're talking in short sentences, typically in social media, is you need to decide which one of those four your post is going to be geared towards, and write it in a way that will connect with them, right? So if you are looking at doing a lot of posts on Facebook, you might have one message that you write 4 ways. Okay, so you would write it in a way that's appropriate for each one of the 4 styles and post those periodically. Yes, ma'am.
So you mentioned you had a colleague. She was your colleague that was the high I and you were the high D?
Yes.
What if it's your superior that's the high I and you're a high D?
It becomes a lot more challenging when it is a superior. There is this idea of managing up. So you can, by the way that you show up to her, she will change the way she shows up to you. So when you show up and become more of an I, she will all of a sudden like you better, want to help you more, and be more engaged in that conversation to give you what you need. It's challenging. It truly is, and it takes some practice, and we could get into that. If you wanted to do a strategy session, we could get into that in great detail. It is totally doable.
Okay.
Totally doable. Yeah. Any other questions? Yes. Oh, 5 minutes. That was my 5 minute. Yes, Doris.
How do you know when you're doing a cold call? Like, give me some quick, how do you get your...
Cold call in person or on the phone?
In person.
In person. You're going to look at the way they're dressed. You're going to look at the colors that they're wearing. You're going to look at, for example, D's will always be clean, professional to the nth degree, no stains, no tears, every hair in place, well accessorized. I's, who are super fun, might show up in their gypsy costume. You can tell by how they walk into the room. You can tell by how they say hello. You can tell by how they sit in their chair. This is why I could talk about this for 4 days.
Are there YouTube videos on this somewhere? It occurs to me. Do you know of any?
No, I have not been able to
Make
find
one.
I know. That's on my list of things to do. Yes. Yes. Anything else? Any other questions?
Oh, one quick thing, I don't want to open up big can of worms, but NLP. You know, when I was first in sales, you know, neuro-linguistic program, the auditory learner, the visual, you know, the kinesthetic. Can you just very quickly see how these would mesh?
Yes, they do mesh. And it can be, that's something else to listen for in your conversations. You want to know if they're auditory kinesthetic, and they'll say, I think, I feel, I hear. Okay, and that can actually occur in multiple ones of these.
Yes.
Typically, I hear and I feel are going to be either an I or an S. Thinking is logic, task focused, job oriented, tends to be more your D's and C's.
I noticed when I was in outside sales, the business owners who are typically D's are visual.
Yes.
And me as auditory, I just had a hard time just looking them in the eye.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's a problem.
Yes.
Still is. So that is just an example.
Mm-hmm. Very much so. Okay, well, thank you guys for your attention.
This is awesome.
Thank you so much. Really appreciate it. Now we'll move right into our section, which is often my favorite side from the presentation itself, is hearing a little bit from you and what your action item is. So we will go around the room really quickly, and I want to hear from each of you. And maybe it could be one of the three: the stop, the go, the continue. Let's hear how you are processing this. And I will mention you have a number of things in front of you. There's also this action pad that you are welcome to take that with you and to help you identify the actions you will take. I'll tell you mine. My action item is I am going to be really listening for the D-I-S-C in the people. So if I stare at you funny when we talk later, I'm trying.
He's being a C, and
yes.
he's analyzing you.
Yes. Yes. I'm definitely, strangely enough, in the S and the C kind of area there, even though I stand up in front of you here. So strange. Joe, let's hear from you.
I think my stop is just going to be to continually work on stop talking just to fill space so that you have more time to listen.
I guess I'm C, but sometimes I'm A and B. It's quite interesting. I'm going to start recognizing behaviors through memorizing that DISC theory and then mastering my pitch based on that. So trying to kind of match them together and see where I can go from there.
I'm going to try and ask more questions.
I really liked what you said about posting in social media or whatever avenue to a specific personality, and I think I can use that more when I'm helping clients with marketing messaging to just target a personality. So, thank you.
I am going to start explaining more back to them what I'm hearing so that we can have that validation in the conversation.
I'll use this totally in my social media posts. So I schedule them anyway, but I've been looking for some languaging to describe what you're talking about, so I really appreciate that.
Talk less, pay more attention to the questions that people are asking me. If anybody sees me around, hangs out with me, hold me accountable.
To consciously look for the signs of what their personalities are.
So for me, I recently hired a director of business development, and he basically told me that DISC was like the holy grail of exactly what you've been saying, and he uses it, and he's been super successful. And he sort of went into it with me for about an hour, but I didn't go into it that much. But now I'll just buy and read a book on it probably this week.
I'll probably talk less and explain less in my legal explanations to clients, I guess.
But not to her boss. Exactly. I always get enjoyment out of listening to people and listening to their stories and trying to figure out. I think I'm going to continue doing that and listening to what other people have to say. I've really learned a lot from others and their businesses, and I think that helps me educate others in making sure that their businesses are successful.
I'm going to start to try to be more perceptive into which category people that I'm communicating with fall into, and see if I can observe and take that to a better communication level.
Is it me?
Yes, please.
I'm probably going to talk more when I'm dealing with my high I and tasks that seem very basic and bottom line oriented to me, maybe tie it to something that's a personal goal for him.
So I'm nearly evenly split between driver and analytic, so I do the pros and cons go. And I've worked on it a long time, but I have discovered that when amongst men, my style is good. And when I'm amongst women, I need to use more feeling words. I agree. I care that it's not apparent, so I will say I feel instead of I think.
Yeah, good for you. Good job. Your fault.
I feel pretty strong on the I, and so I tend to let the talkers talk too much sometimes, my clients. So I'm going to work on managing the talkers. And also, I'm going to accept that some people need 3 days to decide.
Some need 3 months.
Years.
Yeah.
I think for me, it was definitely, I go along with you with the social media aspect of it. I think that's really intriguing. And so definitely going to be learning more about it to see how I can change my emails and my posts around.
I score 100 on the D scale, by the way. And I will share one thing to the group. 100 D, if they ask you a yes or no question, they want one of two answers, yes or no. I don't care. My wife always explains to me why, you know, and it's like, you just have to wait for it, you know, then you get your yes or no. What I want to stop doing is storytelling and conversations unless people want me to be storytelling. And to work at having fun and to record, especially discovery meetings. And for a good discovery meeting, I need to be talking less than 10% of the time.
I need to work on tailoring my sessions with potential clients towards their quadrant and be more conscious of what it is they're looking for and try to provide that better.
I feel like I'm going to want to do more on the social media side of the things and doing the disc thing with that and have multiple posts that have the same message.
Well, someone once threatened to buy me a t-shirt that said, "Help, I'm talking, I can't shut up." I've been working on the listening part instead of puking on everybody. So I'm going to continue to do that.
Wow, that's a hard act to follow. Absolutely. Mine too is the listening part. The level of listening that I want to get on every conversation is listening with the heart.
Yep.
You know, we justify it with our mind, but getting to the heart of the matter. Well done. Thank you.
In my industry, we're dealing with people who are in a massive grief, once in a lifetime experience of purchasing a very large monetary investment. So I think that we truly are really good in the listening part. All of my salespeople and people in the office who interact with customers are good in sales. But I think then after that initial meeting with people, we do a lot of emailing. And I think that what we don't do really well is how do they need to receive the information? We talk a lot about, how do you receive the football and love languages and things like that. And I think that now talking with my sales team about how do you do that on email. Did you ask that question? Someone asked the question about how you put it in email. And I think that kind of talking with them and discussing about how we can do that with each individual customer help us.
I'm just going to, I'd like to learn more about it.
I think tailoring my responses on my side of the conversation. In my last role, my VP is definitely a D, and I am very animated, and I will tell you what I think. I also grew up in New York City, so maybe that has something to do with it, but I definitely need to tailor my responses on my side to who I'm working with and who I'm talking to.
Definitely gonna start doing a better job considering the other people's communication style and doing a much better job listening, trying to understand their communication style so I can respond accordingly.
I've taken the assessment twice, 17 years apart. She's right, you don't change. High D, high C, 0 I, 0. It doesn't change. But with this new career, I was an engineer, high D, high C served you well. Education, possibly not so much. So my goal is to better address how I react to people who aren't like me, because that's what's going to be from now on.
I am a DI, and I struggle sometimes with the S's. So I always want to help them because, you know, I'm carrying like an I person too. So I didn't give them a long enough time to answer. I'd always give them the 3 days or whatever. I never rushed that. But that space where they wouldn't be talking, I would feel like I needed to help them. So I would like keep talking because I didn't want them to feel uncomfortable. So I got to work on it. So thank you, Teena.
I really loved hearing the difference with the DISC, and I'm really working on all my copy in my email and social media and urgent needs and wants and so forth, and so playing around with kind of how to use these in all of that will be a challenge for me.
Awesome, y'all. That's a great takeaway. I love hearing that. Just how what you're going to do with what you, how you've invested your time this morning. Teena, do you have a final thought or takeaway?
Sure. I am really impressed with everything that you guys just said. And I think it's absolutely fantastic that everybody has something that they're going to go home and start to work on. And please do that. I would ask that if you start working on it and it becomes a struggle or you're not really sure what to do, contact me. I have cards. You can find me through this website, through their Facebook page as well. And I'd be happy to help you get your arms wrapped around that, start to put it into practice, and really up your game from that perspective. So don't ever hesitate to reach out to me if at any time you think that I can help you with this.
And you'll do this presentation for others as well?
Absolutely, yes. If you know, I thank you for saying that. If you know of other locations that would like to have this information or are looking for speakers, I'm open to that as well. So.
Fantastic. Yeah, so